This is our lecture on diversity and multiculturalism. We are starting a new module in Emergent curriculum. And there's just a few definitions I want to start out with. The readings that you have been assigned through the textbooks don't give you these definitions, but you will learn a lot of context when we start reading the chapters 5 through 10 in the Emergent curriculum book. But for the sake of this course and what I want you to understand, I am going to give you a few definitions that I would like you to learn and understand and keep in your head as you move through the readings. So diversity, the definition I chose is understanding that each individual is unique and also recognizing our individual differences. The differences can be in race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, age, physical abilities, religious beliefs, political beliefs, or other ideologies. And then that is a little bit different than multiculturalism. Okay, that's a specific focus, a focus on the creation of equal educational opportunities and positive attitudes towards differences. And remember, culture is not defined as one's race. Culture has an incredibly broad definition. Interculturalism is the sharing and learning across cultures that promotes understanding, equality, harmony, and justice in a diverse society. So we are not teaching in a bubble or a vacuum. We are teaching now in a very diverse society, no matter where you are in the world. So practicing interculturalism is going to be really imperative to your own personal growth and to the personal, cognitive, and social emotional development of all children you are working with. And then there's anti-bias curriculum. So this is a specific mindful curriculum implemented that adds an emphasis on the individual's actions in response to discrimination and prejudice. So these would be conversations in the classroom about racism and what that means. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay, and then just some highlight key points. Teachers of young children can broaden their perspective on potential curriculum by examining the images, messages, and meanings of any holidays significant within the school's community. So what we are really focusing on in this module and in chapters 5 through 10 of the Emergent curriculum book is what are the meanings and cultural significant ideologies that we hold in a classroom, and what do we pass on or imprint to children in the classroom when we celebrate such holidays. Teachers and children's interests as sources of the curriculum always need evaluation in terms of the values held in the school community, family, and culture, as well as in terms of young children's capacity to understand a given topic and to ask useful questions about it. This is really, really, really important. We want to start asking ourselves as teachers, what are we bringing of ourselves into the classroom? And does that reflect just ourselves and our interests? Or are we truly listening to what the children are interested in and observing? And with that, under that huge umbrella is understanding what culture they come from, what religion they practice, what race they are, what other affiliations do they belong to or identify with. This is super important when understanding and practicing diversity and multiculturalism. And here's just a little food for thought that oftentimes when I'm teaching in-person classes, this question makes people really uncomfortable and really, really defensive. And I always ask, do we need to celebrate holidays in our childcare? Why or why not? And then I usually give students a few minutes to think about it. And this can be a very heated topic because people have very strong convictions about their holidays and their celebrations. And there's usually a cultural or religious undertone to many of the holidays. But when I really ask, what are we doing in childcare if we're forcing these holidays on people, or what we would call a cookie cutter curriculum? That's sometimes what we call it in the field, meaning you unpack a box and you have everything for Valentine's Day, and it's little cutout hearts and little cherubs with bow and arrows. And then when February is done, you put it back in the box and you never talk about it again. This is what we call cookie cutter curriculum. Now, a more food for thought. Cookie cutter curriculum tends to be the popular paradigm in education right now, especially early childhood education. Lots of preschools have the shamrocks up at St. Patrick's Day. The mistletoe at Christmas, or the snowflakes, and Halloween, the ever-beloved pumpkins. But when you really unpack those and you look at what those represent, they are very Eurocentric, They are very Christian-centric. They are very, very white. And they reflect the beliefs and the values of a mainstream system. Oftentimes, it won't reflect the culture, the identity, or the values of all the children in their care. You might find a child care center, and that this happens all the time when we do audits of child care centers. We will find a child care center that maybe has 2 Caucasian children in it, and yet the entire class is celebrating very Eurocentric things like St. Patrick's Day from Ireland, things that have no personal connection to the students or the children that are there. So I ask again, do we need to celebrate holidays in our child care? And why or why not? I want you to be thinking about that. And I want you to think about this quote from the book, Emergent Curriculum. Holidays serve to connect children with patriotic, religious, and cultural traditions. In the contrary view, many of these holidays take one tradition for granted while ignoring others, and some of them actually promote racist and sexist stereotypes. And I apologize, I said remote, not promote. I will edit that. Multicultural curriculum, some things I want you to think about as we're, shifting our mind and trying to change the paradigm of why we do holidays and how it's important or how it's not important and who we're leaving out. Think about this. Don't always just think about, a holiday or a cookie cutter holiday. We want to create themes of cultural significance and importance that highlight multiple groups, okay? So you can highlight connections between cultures who celebrate similar things. Like for Independence Days, many cultures celebrate an Independence Day, the day that their country was liberated or their province or whatever it may be. New Year's, all around the world, many cultures share a New Year's celebration. Lights, we have Diwali, Festival of Lights. We have Hanukkah, a celebration of light. There are many, many cultures that feature life in these holiday traditions. So we can start thinking about those things that highlight cultural significance as opposed to just saying on Hanukkah, we make a menorah with some candles. And then on Independence Day, we make a red, white, and blue flag. Think about folklore and fables, heroes and holidays and foods and festivals. We always love a multicultural day at school, but we run the risk of reinforcing and perpetuating stereotypes. We trivialize things that are culturally important or significant to a child. So think about when the school hosts one multicultural day. Well, how insulting is that we are relegating celebration of so many beautiful eclectic cultures to one day. So I really want us to start thinking about this. And while we do not get to discuss this over the entire course, it will permeate everything that we do. And I really encourage you to take a diversity course, which we do offer here at DVC.